Go ahead, Coach.
Hi guys, what's up? I've got Christian Durr here today with me to help me make some videos. We got some stuff we've been doing lunches and talking about jiu-jitsu for probably at least 10 years, for a long time.
Yeah.
And
this is what it's like. You guys are about to see what it's like every time. Yeah.
so
what I've been dealing with for over 10 years.
We thought that I thought that we could share that with the students. I thought it would be cool.
Yeah. Can I put my GoFundMe? I should have a GoFundMe for this. You know what I mean? You guys need to support me.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
This guy is the richest guy in jiu-jitsu.
Yeah. Yeah.
So man, but no, I have a unique thinking about jiu-jitsu. Like I feel that talking about jiu-jitsu, the concepts of it, and like is as important as training it, almost as important as training it.
Yeah.
You know, I think understanding why you do things and like what's going on is super important. I always like to do that. You know, I used to watch those YouTube videos of like just random people, you know, Tom Brands and like Hodger Gracie and I mean like Ray Lewis. You know? I remember we used to do the books too. We read Outliers by Malcolm Gladwell.
Yeah.
And you challenged me one time. I used to talk about different books that I was reading, and you challenged me to read a book that wasn't about jiu-jitsu and then apply it to jiu-jitsu. So I read Outliers.
Yeah.
And then we talked about it, and so I was trying to figure out, you know, in Outliers as an example, they talk about like they use Steve Jobs, Bill Gates.
Right.
They were in a perfect place for this, so you could use, you know, there's a pretty good chance that had Marcelo Garcia been born in Collinsville, Oklahoma, instead of where he was, that he would not have been who he was. So like you got to take advantage of these opportunities. You got to have special traits, etc. But reading, you know, different topics like that, like Outliers, and applying that.
Yeah.
But I always thought that you could, the Mastery book,
George Leonard, man, that's a great one.
one of your favorites.
Yeah.
Like your favorite book.
Yeah, man.
You turned me onto that. I turn all my students onto that, and but those types of things got me into this habit of how can I, what can I pick up from people?
Yeah.
And what can I take from them? Like Colin Powell, right? Leadership
Right.
traits, right?
This is a great one.
Put it up. Like these different things can help me a lot. We stole get mad, then get over it, and put it into the agreement and change one of them, because it used to be you can't leave mad. Was the rule. We changed the rule to get mad, then get over it. You know, because you're going to. I think almost I'll argue, you know, because I'm the passionate one at everything, but I'll argue that if you don't train hard enough to get mad every now and then, maybe you're not training hard enough.
Yeah.
You know?
Reminds me of a little bit of Vincent Inouye. He's like, hey, at least once in your life, train, be willing to die in training. Like train that hard that you be willing to die. I like some of those Japanese old school guys like that, man. Man, I think this is I love this right here, man. This applies so much to my jiu-jitsu, you know, from day one. But you know, even now, sometimes you have days like that, man.
We talked about this last night.
Yeah.
I like to talk after class. My students like little circle.
Dude, yeah, man. It's like, I know, man. You know what it is, man. I need to stop class, but we just love rolling so much. There's so much time in my school. We got a class right after that.
Yes.
And so we got to clear the mats. But I hate that because, you know, at John Jocks and old school clinch, man, we might be there till 11 o'clock at night talking. You know what I mean?
We changed it. So I changed it here. We used to do the same thing, and I'm the same way. Like I love to roll more than anything else.
Yeah.
And I love to free roll more than anything else. Like I know situational is insanely valuable.
Right.
Drilling super valuable. But I love to free roll.
That's the funnest thing.
And I also love the grind of extended long 30 and 40 and hour long rolls that we used to do. I love that long grind.
Yeah.
And I think your bad technique sometimes for me was overcame by heart.
Yeah, of course.
And just grit. So building that's important. But what I've done over here to facilitate stretching, to reduce injuries, and then facilitate these conversations is we have a set number of rolls a night and then we're done. So I try to stop teaching at a certain time.
Yeah.
So our class runs 6:30 to 8.
Yeah.
So at 7:15 we're done teaching no matter what.
Right.
I stop teaching. You know, and then 7:15 to 7:45, 7:55, we do 5 or 6 5-minute rounds.
Yeah.
And we just boom, boom, boom. We knock our rounds out, and then we're done.
And then you have no time for stretching, and you
then
can
we
have a
have
conversation while you stretch.
Our 10 to 15 minutes,
that.
and we circle the mat,
Yeah.
and we stretch.
Yeah.
And I run the stretching, and then I just talk, and I bring it up, and we start bouncing questions. And sometimes I tell everybody, hey, stretch on your own, and I get in the middle. And while they're stretching on their own, I spend the next 10 to 15 minutes answering whatever question I had on the side of the mat. Because you know, like after the roll, there's always that question.
Yeah.
So it's like, hey, let's show everybody.
Right.
So I just get in the middle and I come out here.
Nice.
So we've done this. I stole this from the Diaz brothers.
Yeah.
Not just for them, but from
Caesar and those guys. Or
from Randy, from Spence, their coach.
Oh yeah.
But they did it up there.
Yeah.
They had the circle on the mat for like stretching and exercising.
Yeah, man, it reminds me of John Jock. You know, John Jock has a saying. It's like, you know, the learning starts after the training's over, basically. And it's funny because the way he explains it, you know, and you really don't. If you train there, you don't really get this. It's not explicit. You're training there. But luckily, you know, I've been having enough conversation with him, you know, have dinner with him and talk to him about these things as a coach. And I mean, that's one of my favorite things is talking to coaches like this about coaching. You know, it's one of our favorite subjects.
Yeah.
But he basically says, look, man, when, you know, we're all dealing with life when we come in. And even at the beginning of class, you'll see this, man. When you look around, you're teaching technique. And people are just in their thoughts, you know what I mean? Just because they're thinking about their day, they're thinking about the stresses they have. I mean, we all do that. Mm-hmm. But then, you know, jiu-jitsu makes you, you know, it's such a kind of a faux life and death situation that you have to take all your focus on, you know, not getting choked. And then you're exhausted at the end. Now your mind is blank. And this is when John Jock will say something. I mean, and it's funny because, you know, when he told me this, he did this to me so many times, you know what I mean? Like we'd be exhausted, done training, and now you're just sitting on the wall, class is over, and we're kind of having chats, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And John Jock will just drop a pearl, you know what I mean, in your ear, and you think about it for the rest of your life, almost, you know what I mean? Like, you know, I remember specifically one time when, for example, you know, when I was a blue purple belt, because I was a wrestler, I would always be on top taking guys down, and so now passing the guard was such a challenge, you know. And man, if you're having trouble passing the guard, man, listen, join the club, man, because we all had this trouble. And I mean, I love passing the guard. Passing the guard is one of my favorite things now. It's like I'd rather do that than submit a guy a lot of times, you know. If the guy has a good guard, that's almost more challenging than the submission sometimes. Yeah. But man, I remember what I used to do is, and we talked about this, Rick, you know this, but I got triangled so many times at white and blue. And even at purple, that my triangle defense became really good. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like I'm not afraid of the triangle because I know my limit. Yeah. And so now it's possible, but with a lot of those guys,
I feel like it's almost impossible.
But you know, I remember I was rolling with a high level guy, John Jocks. He was like a black belt, whatever. And you know, the passing the guard was so hard. What I do was I would bait the triangle, so I would just put one arm in, one arm out, let the guy try to triangle me, and then when he got exhausted, I would pass the guard, and it worked like butter.
Done this to me 100 times.
Yeah, like it worked butter like to brown belts and even some black belts. But then, so this happened one night, you know what I mean? I passed the guy's guard or whatever, and so then after training, I'm just sitting there, you know, just kind of just enjoying the atmosphere. And John Jocks just sitting next to me. He didn't say to me, you know, he didn't look at me and say. I remember I was sitting next to him, and he's like. He said, Chris, if I ever put you in a triangle, you're not getting out.